R1, still holding it. It's tracking the run from his striker. So it allows us to make the tackle on the person holding the ball. Hey guys, it's Marko from Team FUTWIZ, professional esports player, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my defensive setup and 2 defensive tactics that I use when defending in FIFA 22. My balanced formation is 4-2-3-1, but when I switch to my defensive formation, I change some of the player instructions. Starting with the striker, come back on defense and get in behind. It's very important, which allows me to defend from the front. Going on to my cams, I use come back on defense for all of my cams, and pretty much that's about it. Balance on everything else. Also allows them to drop back into sort of deeper in midfield to make some tackles. With my CDMs, I like to use them on balance on my more attacking player. On my more defensive CDM, I use the cut passing lanes, stay back whilst attacking and cover the center. Which ensures that more security in midfield. They won't drift up the field into the attacking third as much as your more attacking player on balance. So here are my tactics for my defensive setup. I use balance pretty much for my defense and offense, but the width sits at about 55 and my depth sits at about 60 for my defensive style. For build-up play and offense, I use balance and forward runs. Forward runs is very important this year, as your players will just make the run through and you can send the through ball straight over the top. The width is sitting at about 45. I don't want them to be too wide in this formation, as I want everything to be short and concise, really, and make everything a bit more narrow, so to say. So on this play here, my defender reads the pass well, just trying to find an outlet pass as we're getting pressed. Looking for the outlet pass, trying to find one of the bigger bodies in midfield. We don't find it. See our winger open, try and find the outlet pass again, head it down and try and win the ball back. Make the tackle on the wing here. Still getting pressed, trying to find a way out. We find the switching play. Let's break it down. So my opponent tries over the top ball. We read the pass. We're trying to find an outlet pass here. So it's very important to stay calm. So we see the outlet pass here to our CDM. We try and win the head down. We don't find it, but as you can see here, we pause it here and we see that on our radar down the bottom, we can see our left winger is ahead of his right back. So we play the lofted pass. We try and win the head down and try and win the ball back if we don't win the pass. So now that's very important here. We make the tackle on the wing, which then resets the entire press, and our opponent's press will push all the way over to our side of the field. Now that we see that on the radar here, we can see that our right back is in complete space and it's a 2-on-1 on the right side. We make the switch, the right back's drawn in, we use the double triangle pass down the wing to find open space and a potential huge opportunity to score. So I'm going to go through another defensive setup, how I use it to my advantage to try and beat the press. And basically here, we see the pass come through over the top. We switch straight away to our centre back, read the pass, make the passes out to play out of the press, which is very important. So let's break this clip down a little bit here. We lose the ball in midfield, but because of my tactics here on my CDMs, we have cover centre and stay back across attacking. It allows us to keep straight and tight, which allows me to make the switch straight away to my centre back, win the ball back. It allows us to win the knockdown, try and find intricate passes, play out from the back here. Our forward runs tactics allows us to find the players making the runs into space here, which allows us to open up his entire defense. So in my ultra defensive tactics, we use a 4-3-3. The main reason why we use the 4-3-3 here is to allow for our left and right wingers to stay further wide and pretty much hug the sideline. It also allows for one of the attackers to drop further back into midfield to act as another central defender. On our wingers here, we use stay wide, get in behind. Main reason for that is we want them to make the runs pretty much on the touchline and don't leave there. We want them on come back on defense as well. That's very important. For the striker as well, come back on defense, get in behind. Same sort of thing. We want him to make the runs over the top, but we also want him to come back and defend. Our left and right backs, we want them on stay back whilst attacking. We don't want any movement from our left and right backs. And from the midfielders, we want them all on stay back whilst attacking and cover the centre to act as 3 defensive midfielders in this formation. The main difference between our defensive and our ultra-defensive formation tactics is the chance creation from forward runs to possession. I want my players to come to feet to receive the ball, and I want to be able to manually trigger the over-the-top runs. We want to sit back just a little bit more using a 45 depth compared to a 60, which also allows us to obviously absorb more pressure but defend as a unit, as one. So here we are just observing what our opponent's doing, just trying to guard the lanes, make sure he doesn't get any easy passes off to his strikers. So here we can see our shape defensively. Our whole team is pretty much in our own half. We're guarding the passing lanes, making sure no easy passes get through, and then be able to play out from the back. So let's break it down a bit here. Our opponent's trying to look for some space or for running behind, but our entire defense is there set and waiting for it. As we can see, because I use comeback on the defense, for all my attackers, they're in our own half, defending with me, making it very difficult for our opponent to find any sort of space or any sort of rhythm to try and mount an attack. As we roll through the clip, we can see our opponent trying to find some space, not being able to find any, just because of how compact and tight our defense is everywhere, guarding all the lanes, which forces a mistake. And that's what we want to do, force people to make their own mistakes and then use that to our advantage to try and play out from the back. So in this clip here, we lose the ball on halfway and immediately we're in trouble here. Our opponent's on the counter attack. It's very important to stay compact. As we can see right here, he's got his strikers running through on goal. We're covering the lane with Vieira. We're also trying to cover the ball straight to his striker who's open on the left side as well. As we can see here, the use of R1 here is very important as it allows us to press the opponent with the ball and also guard the lane. As we roll through here, R1 still holding it. It's tracking the run from his striker. So it allows us to make the tackle on the person holding the ball. I've been Marko, and this has been my defensive and ultra defensive masterclass. I hope it works for you. See you on the pitch.